Hi, my name is Aniya Warren. I go to the University of Wisconsin-Madison and I play volleyball. One of the best pieces of advice that I've been given personally is just go out there and just give it your all and never leave any regrets out there with just being present mentally, physically, and just making sure you're all in whatever you want to do in life. And that goes for the sport. You go in, get the extra reps, go all out, bring that energy, bring that fire, and just go on the court and be who you are, but also in life. No matter what someone wants you to be or tells you how you should fit in with the norms of society, just go out there and show everyone who you are and don't fear anything. Something that I focus on with my training is just relaxing, knowing that I'm not going to be perfect. And I think every time you're doing anything in life, you want to go out there and do it to your fullest potential and best ability. And no one ever wants to make mistakes, but mistakes is a part of the growth. Failure is a part of growth, and just knowing that that's all part of the process, and that for me to be the best version of who I am on and off the court, that I'm going to have to make mistakes and I won't always be perfect. The University of Wisconsin-Madison does a great job of giving us resources. So I have a nutritionist, and at the beginning of the year we had a meeting and we set goals of how I want to do make sure I have a good breakfast with, it doesn't need to be huge, but make sure I'm getting something in my system. And then making sure I get a snack after lift, some type of protein to make sure that my body and muscles are growing the way that they're supposed to be. And then making sure lunch I have greens on my plate, if that's salad, or even making sure that I also have a protein that goes with it and a good carb load to make sure I have energy to get me through the long days of school, practice, and to refuel my body to make sure that everything goes pretty well. And then if I depending on how late I eat my lunch, to make sure that I also get another snack if I need to, if it's too early, too late, to make sure I have enough going into practice. And then after practice, making sure I refill myself with another great carb load, protein, greens, just making sure I get all three of those in every single meal to make sure I'm the best of my ability. And if I have an early dinner, I'll incorporate a snack later at night, either that being acai bowl or a granola bar, goldfish, just making sure I'm putting everything into my body to be the most successful that I can on the court. Being the captain of the USA team, it's not something that you're I was going for or gunning for or even in the goals. It's just something that just your presence, being there, being on the court. I always want the person next to me to be better by just standing there next to me on the floor. Whether that's in life or just anything I do, I try and make an impact on every person that I come across, and hopefully that's a good impact. And that's my goal, is to always leave someone with even that just being a smile from someone that I see. And as I incorporate that into my game, it's just come on guys, let's go, let's bring the heat, let's bring the fire, let's go after it to win this gold and be as successful as we want to be as we're going into a different country, which some things that comes with different stuff, the food is not always the greatest, but always knowing no matter what is there, we're here as a team, and no matter what, we're gonna fight as a team. And it just was keeping that team aspect very prevalent, always being a constant energy support and trying to play as consistent as possible for my team. So I'm mainly a giver. So no matter what I did, I always wanted to give back to the team, give back to those around me. So being the captain just came along with being who I was and who I am. And it plays just a part in everyday life. I think a captain isn't just made randomly. It's someone that does it on a daily basis in every single thing that they do in life. And the whole experience of being on that USA team was pretty cool. It was amazing to just go out there and fight for our country against other people in other countries. And it just was we're doing this you have a different purpose as you're going out there. The first time hearing that national anthem play, when you're standing on that end line, it just hits different. And sometimes girls can get a little teary-eyed, and it's just wow, I did this at the end of the day. And it's just, I'm out here representing my country, and you only get to do that in a few ways, if that's competing for the sport or going on the battlefield. And I don't want to go into the army or the battlefield, but I give props to those that do it. But for me to even be representing my country in that high of a level, it just meant a lot to me. The environment of being in Croatia is definitely different than something I'm used to. The court I've never played on, it was just super hot. lights were coming in. And I guess I have played in something similar, but never like in that arena and that type of vibe. And also like at one point in the game, my mom talks about like there was like a stray dog walking in, and like we walk out of the arena most of the time in like the US, it's very nice. It's very put together. Not saying that it wasn't put together there, but it's just like a different way of how people live their life. And I saw a lot of more like stray dogs, stray cats, like just like walking next to you, not even like in fear. It's just like, this is what we do. This is how we live. And everyone's like, whoa, that's how you live. And me personally, I'm like, whoa, like that. I'm not a fan of animals. And to see a stray dog, I'm like, okay, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Sometimes I get scared. But that was definitely something that I had to get used to. The food is different, and I have a lot of allergies. Like I'm allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to shellfish. I stay away from like all seafood just because of that allergy. I'm also like have a dairy allergy. So it's like when it's like food, it's not made particularly for me sometimes. And one time I ended up with a meal with just like salad and bread. So it's like more pond, because there's also a language barrier because they don't speak the same language as we do in America. So just like all those different factors playing a part, it was actually really cool to see, and it's actually beautiful there, and it's just fun to like get to like dive and experiment into like those type of life, like the life that they live, and like the foods that they have, like what I could eat. I've like experiment it and try it and see how it was, and most of the time it was actually pretty good. Sometimes I'm not a fan of it, but it's because I'm also a picky eater, but some of them I was like, oh, that's really good. Like they had this key lime pie that was actually really good. And I was like, oh, that was actually really good. Any more? But they didn't have any more, but it was actually really good. My recruitment process, it was definitely very fun. I got to say like there's a lot of stress involved in it, like trying to make the right choice. But from like my process in particular, like I learned like it doesn't always happen on like the first go. Like there's gonna be like bumps in the roads, ups and downs, but you just have to ride the wave ultimately, and everything that you get, like enjoy it, like you deserve it. Like I also felt like a sense of like gratitude to like be in this position, to like even have colleges reaching out to me, because I know like this isn't the life for every single athlete that plays this sport. It's only like a handful of athletes that actually get to do it at like any type of level, and ultimately even try and get to like the highest level that I'm at today. And it's also like you take a step back and you look at it and it's like, wow, like it's amazing to be in this position. It's amazing to be stressed. It's amazing to like have this pressure to make the right decision, and realize that all of that is a privilege at the end of the day. And that was one thing I tried to like keep into focus when I was going through the recruitment process. And really grateful for the parents that I've had that always like encouraged me, never put any type of pressure, like you have to do this, you have to go here, you have to go that. So ultimately, we did make it as like a family decision, but ultimately I'm like super happy that they were there to like be on this journey with me. The question of why Wisconsin, like this place is just beautiful, and a lot of times they say like athletes pick the place just based off like the sport or whatever, but there's like so much here to do. There's so much outside of just the sport itself of volleyball, but going into like why I chose Wisconsin, because of like also the program that it is. It's like a competitive environment, and you go out there and you just want to show out. There's like a huge fan base, and you want to show out and be the best for those people in the stands that come, and there's people waiting outside our game like hours and hours before. So to go and be able like to wear a Wisconsin jersey, to go out there and like know how much like support goes into this program and how much the fans love it here is just like really awesome, because sometimes volleyball isn't loved and appreciated as in like all other states, but Madison really does a great job of showing like how much like they love the sport of volleyball. And like at the end of the day, it's like, wow, this is like so cool to see and amazing to be here. One thing I think I've become a better player at the college level is just being okay with like learning that with this sport, there's going to be a lot of things thrown at you, like a lot of film, a lot of techniques, and sometimes that can like overwhelm people. And also learning that like film is a huge part of everything that like everyone does, and like learning that like you can pick up on other people's tendencies and like see what they're doing if you really just like break everything down one by one. So also like seeing how much like you can learn specifically just like in the film session, like off the court, is like so much, and you can grow with like the knowledgeable coaches that are around you. They know how to like break it down in the ways that we can see it, and we can see like, oh, she's hitting this shot, look, over and over and over, it's that shot. Or they have this tendency, like when it's in the red zone, like they do this, like the servers have a tendency of being really good here but might struggle to get all the way to the corner there. And like seeing that like is really cool, because a lot of times we think that progress is made only on the court or you have to be in the gym, but like if you look around, like there's so many other ways to like get better. And like college has really opened my eyes, because it's when you really take the deep dive and like you take multiple days and like learning your opponents, and you can even like on the side, like you're looking at yourself too, like things you can get better at, things you can grow at, and just like looking specifically into like the skills to like really get better into the overall like college level of like everything, which is really cool to see like how much something off the court can really impact your game. I think NIL is a really cool thing, and it's growing the sports, growing all the way around, and it's like ultimately getting people the exposure to new deals, to being able to talk more, learning personal skills and like skills that we can use in like everyday life with like getting future jobs. And it's something that I think is developing in a great way to allow athletes the way like a lot of people are going for like internships. Like sometimes being athlete, it's hard to get those internships because you have all these things going on outside your plates. But NIL is a way like that is more accessible to athletes, and it allows all of us to be able to explore those type of like work environments that sometimes we wouldn't be able to do with like all the rigorous of our sports and like how much we have to do, like the practices we have to attend. And sometimes that can be a lot with like trying to figure out like life after the sport. But I think NIL is also helping us figure out life after the sport as an easy way and accessible, and is incorporated with what we are doing. Something I'd say to younger athletes is just don't let anyone like dull your shine. Don't let anyone say that you can't do something. Like don't let anyone dictate what you can do in life or what you will do in life. So believe in yourself, because if you don't have the ultimate belief in you, then you shouldn't expect anyone else to. So just go out there thinking that whatever you put your mind to, like you can do, you can accomplish it. And 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, like there will be millions or like thousands or even like 100 people that believe in you and can tell you that, yeah, you can do this, but you just have to find those people that are around there for you. And ultimately it'll just be amazing, and you'll thank yourself and thank your future self for just always going after it and believing in yourself. My name is Aniya Warren, and I play volleyball at the University of Wisconsin Madison. You can check me out on Next Level Prep.